Has been far more damaging for the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, than even she could have anticipated, because what this really says, in simple terms, is her standing, quite frankly, in Hollywood. She'd hoped, having appeared, of course, on that red carpet and that beige ensemble, for the Variety magazine, of which, did you ever see, by the way, that excited reporter who I thought needed oxygen at one point? She couldn't quite believe she'd been given the opportunity to gush. I wouldn't say ask questions, because they were all pre-arranged questions. Every single thing that Meghan said, she knew what that interviewer was going to ask her. Nothing was ad-libbed. Let's just be clear about that. But what is fascinating now, simply for Harry and Meghan, is this rebuttal, which is really sort of reverberating around the walls of Montecito and, more importantly, the wider scale of Hollywood, because this is all about a man who has untold wealth, who seemingly doesn't want them at one of the biggest days, if not the biggest day of his life. Let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as ever, lovely to have your company. A lot of people know that, the Duke of Westminster did, have plans at some point to invite Meghan and Harry. We're not quite sure who dissuaded him. That's the bigger picture, really, because as one knows, it will be the society event of the year, if not the wealthiest man in London. The Duke of Westminster owns so much land. In fact, this land, I believe, that we're sitting on right now belongs to him. I know, expected to come crashing through to the floor, you know what I mean? But on a serious note, there's a bigger problem, because Meghan's team, her new agency, would very much like her to somehow get this connected. This would resonate incredibly well for Meghan and Harry to see if they could get some, sort of connection, if you like, because this would say to them that they are still important enough to invite to these particular events. And without that invite, it does become problematic. Make no mistake about it. Now, Meghan has a plan. You see, she believes that the fact that the Duke of Westminster is godfather to Prince Archie will be the final seal. Apparently, she's willing to bring Archie over, and as ever, we have to say allegedly, to the United Kingdom. This is Archie, who was not given the opportunity to come to the United Kingdom to see his grandfather's coronation because, well, Meghan, whatever, couldn't be bothered, couldn't be fagged. But this is a golden opportunity, you see. This would put her back in the seal. And according to very, well-placed sources, Meghan realises this. And while they've now tried to counteract that by letting the New York Post know that they had a card, save the date, seems a little bit bewildering, because perhaps they were the only ones with the save the date. There were no cards. You get the picture. So now the bigger problem is this. Will the Duke of Westminster relent? Will he, of course, then invite Meghan and Harry? And will this be turned into something of a circus? Or indeed, will they offer one of their usual pivotal, gushing, video calls, messages for the world to see, letting the world know that they're still connected, they're still chums, but more importantly, they have something to offer. It is tricky times for Harry and Meghan. They're laughing at the, Hollywood Reporter, the South Park, the Family Guy thing. It is relentless, and one wouldn't wish it on anybody, really, but many reflect that they've brought this upon themselves. And these now bigger public sort of snubs are very difficult for Harry and Meghan to contend with, because they're literally out there. Stores are mocking them. Everybody's now laughing at their, circus, and it's a circus that they've created. Will it be a circus, though, that the Duke of Westminster will finally want to see at his glorious wedding next summer in the very heart of London? It is a developing story, and as ever, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.